What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Anthony and this is Watch With Me. Today we're going to be going over my watch collection, just about each piece, what they mean to me, why I purchased them, and kind of what 15 years of watch collecting has led me to. I hope you all enjoy it. If you do, leave a comment down below and of course a thumbs up. But let's get into it, guys. Let's see what I got. So in no particular order, we'll start with my Panerai. This is a 312. What's interesting about this Panerai is this is actually the second time I've owned this watch. I purchased this watch many years ago. It was probably it was at the time the most expensive watch I ever purchased. This is back when the 312 was $8,500 before the price reduction. But I loved it, and I had many straps for it, and I ended up selling the watch along with another watch to fund a Audemars Piguet Royal Oak offshore, and I quickly sold that, and it took me a number of years before I purchased this again, but I did always miss it. And then over 2 years ago now, when I was married to my wife, I decided to kind of mark that occasion with the watch purchase, and I bought the 312 again. And I can honestly say it's the only watch I've ever sold and bought back, but I don't think I'll ever sell this watch. One, it's connected to my wedding day, which is one of the best days of my life, and it's just such a unique watch. It's the largest watch I own, but I think there's just something so amazing about the fit and finish of it and the size. Right now it's on this green canvas military strap, and I just love it. It's by far one of my top pieces I own, and every time I look at it, I think of my wedding day, so it's that much more special. Next, we have my Breitling 806. This is from the early 1960s. This is right after they got rid of the Valjoux 72 movement, so this one is a Venus 188 movement. It has the beads of rice bezel, the reverse panda dial. You can see the tritium kind of falling out of the hands, which I think adds to the character of it. But a really meaningful watch. It's probably the most quintessential pilot's watch. I used to work for Breitling, so it's just one of those pieces that means a lot to me. It reminds me of my time there. And I think it's one of the best vintage watches you can get right now for under $5,000, maybe even under $4,000, depending on the condition. I have it on this beautiful suede strap that I think just really brings out the color of the tritium. And yeah, it's oversized for a vintage piece from the 1960s. It's at 41 millimeters, but translates into a beautiful mid-sized watch nowadays. And yeah, like the Panerai, it's a piece I think I'm gonna hold on to for the rest of my life. And I think there's room for growth in terms of investment for this watch. I think that you'll tend to see prices keep creeping up. All right, and next we have another Breitling. This is my Breitling Top Time. I don't wear this one too often. It's the smallest watch I own. It's 34 millimeters. It's gold plated, but it has these beautiful rectangle pushers, 2-register chronograph. I have it on a Jean Rousseau pebbled leather strap. I wore this to my engagement party with a green suit, which I thought it complemented it extremely well. Again, just a great watch, and this was in one of my other videos, which I think is probably one of the best vintage watches you can buy on the market right now for under $2,000. Like the Navitimer, it is a Venus 188 movement, but extremely reliable. Any watchmaker can work on it, and I just love the watch. I think this is really speaking to a time when Breitling was doing everything extremely well. You know, the 50s through the 70s, I think, was Breitling's top of the market. I think that's when they were really putting out amazing designs, and this is a go-to for vintage collectors on an affordable price range, I believe. Now, this is actually my favorite, or one of my favorite vintage pieces. I purchased this with the Top Time at the exact same time. This is a Wachman. This is a triple date, so this is not an annual calendar, but it tells you the month, the day, and the date. You will have to readjust it once a month, but it's a modified Value 72 movement. So similar movement that's in the Paul Newman Daytona is in this Wachman, and this is a watch that you can get under $3,000. This has, like the Navitimer, a reverse panda dial. I just think it's an absolutely stunning piece. I think the finishing on it it's okay, but I think the placement of the hands, the index markers, the pushers, I just think it's a fantastic piece. This was this and the Top Time were the two first vintage pieces I ever bought. I purchased them at the same time, and you know, it's not worth a tremendous amount of money, but I do find myself wearing it quite a bit. I think the size is great, 38 millimeters, and it goes with everything. Next, we have this guy. This is a very affordable vintage piece. I think I purchased this for just under $400. I put a new strap on it. This company, Pierce, is not in business anymore, but they were making all their own movements. So it is a very hard watch to work on. If you ever had to get this fixed, more often than not, the cost of repairing this watch would surpass the price of the watch. So not many people purchase these. But if you don't wear it too much and you're careful with it, it's a fantastic vintage watch that you can get under $500. I love the 2-register chronograph, but at the 12 and the 6, I think is somewhat unique. And I think the way the dial is kind of aging with the blue hands and the pop of the red seconds, it's just a fantastic piece. I don't wear it much, but honestly, for under $500, I don't know if you can beat it. Next, we have my most recent purchase. This is my Rolex Submariner. This is a 16800. It's a transitional reference. It's the first time Rolex ever used a 904 grade steel. They quickly got rid of this piece and just dropped it to a 16800 and changed the movement. So this watch was produced for under 1 year, and I purchased it this year. I had a very good year in business, and to kind of mark that occasion, I purchased this watch, and I've been wearing it a lot. It's the first time I ever owned a Submariner, and I can understand the appeal of it. I think a lot of these Rolex watches, you see how sought after they are. You don't quite get it until you own it, and you realize what makes them so amazing. And I totally feel it with this watch. The dial kind of has this fading, not bubbling to it, but I'll put up a photo, you can see it a bit better. The thing I love about vintage watches is just who purchased them, where were they. This is from '87, so this watch is just 2 years younger than me. So for 31 years, you know, who was wearing this watch, what did this watch see? It's part of the amazing part of collecting watches and kind of you know, creating your own memories with it, but also kind of wondering what memories has this watch had and who purchased it. So it's kind of a geeky thing to think about when it comes to watches, but it's something I do, and I think it adds to the fun of collecting vintage pieces. Next, we have my Rolex Daytona. This is a 16528. This is a Zenith movement. I purchased this almost 2 years ago, just before the Phillips auction, when Phillips auctioned off the Paul Newman's Daytona. This was one of the most expensive watches I ever purchased, and it's done quite well since I purchased it. But that being said, I think this is, when I actually bought this after I had my 5711, and this watch here is one of the reasons I sold my 5711. I just found myself always wearing this watch. I think the styling of it, the yellow gold, the history of it, I just love the watch, and I found myself really not wearing my Nautilus at all anymore. So that was one of the reasons I decided to sell that. But this watch, I think it just wears so well on the wrist. And for a gold watch, my favorite way to wear this is just jeans and a t-shirt. I think it goes so well. It's the ultimate sport watch, in my opinion. And like the Submariner, I think you really understand what Rolex brings once you own the piece. The styling of it is so perfect. It's such a simple design, but so perfect, and it's my absolute favorite watch I own. I do wear this one probably at least 3 or 4 times a week, so that could change later on, but right now it's definitely my favorite watch, and it's been that for 2 years. So we also have right here is my Nomos. So this was given to me by my best friend. I was in his wedding party, and he presented it to me the day of his wedding, or the day before rather, and it's just a very special piece. Nomos is one of the most underrated brands right now. What they're doing for the price point, you really can't beat it. This is a very simple watch, but I think aesthetically it's absolutely beautiful. I love the high polished. I love that it's manually wound. I love how thin it is, and most of all, how I got it, the story behind it. You know, my friend who gave me this, he's also a watch guy, and we share that passion, and he got my name engraved in the back, and this is hands down a piece that I'll have with me for the rest of my life. So it's I'm sure you're gonna watch this video. Thank you very much. Every time I wear this, I think of you and that awesome wedding day. And yeah, my Nomos Club. So this is a piece I don't wear at all, to be honest with you. This is a Timex that my grandfather wore every day before he passed away. I just got it recently. It was left to his daughter, my aunt, and she recently gave it to me. It's not an expensive watch, but just the fact that, you know, he wore it every day, I think makes it a very special watch to me. It's not a tremendous value, but my grandfather, an immigrant from Italy, you know, didn't have much growing up, and I think no matter what he did eventually acquire, he took care of it because it meant that much to him. So a piece like this, you know, I'll make sure I continue to take care of it, whether it's, you know, on my wrist or in my watch box. I think it's an important piece to have for my family, and I'm honored that my aunt trusted me with her father's Timex. So this is my Girard-Perregaux. Again, a very, very small vintage watch. This watch was also a gift from a very good friend of mine in the watch industry as well. It doesn't work right now. It runs so fast. It runs like 5 minutes fast an hour, I'd say. So it's in desperate need of an overhaul. But this is one of those pieces that you can pick up for probably, you know, under $1,000, and it comes from a great brand that's underrated, Girard-Perregaux. They make fantastic pieces, and not many people talk about them. But this is one of those pieces that I think in the future you'll see them start to creep up in price once this whole vintage craze. You know, there's only so many vintage pieces out there, and people keep buying them up. We're going to start looking to other brands, and I think Girard-Perregaux is one of those brands that people could start looking into. And that's pretty much it. You know, this is not meant to show off what I have. This is just a great platform that I can share my passion with you all. I've been collecting for 15 years. The industry I work in is timepieces. I used to be a dietitian. I was very unhappy doing that. I worked in a nursing home. I went back to school. I got my business degree, and I decided to work with watches because that is my passion, and it's been amazing ever since. I've acquired some amazing timepieces, but I think most importantly, the friendships I've made. Some of my closest friends that were in my wedding, I've met through this amazing hobby that we have. But that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. A little bit different, a longer video, so I apologize for that. But if you liked it, I would appreciate a thumbs up. Definitely subscribe. I am giving away some cool watch swag at 100 subscribers. And leave a comment down below. What do you think of my watch collection? What is missing? What should I get next? Until the next time, guys, take it easy.